All right, but let's set up TradingView, and we're going to do a professional setup that includes two separate tools. This is going to be incredible. And again, we really want to get started with something that nobody talks about. So it's going to be this watch list. We'll talk about why this is super important. But again, how do we get here? So let's go through that. You're just going to head on over to tradingview.com. And again, you can click on charts, and once you get there, it will show you a chart that basically is a black background and not this one, but we'll go over how you can change that in a second. So let's get started really quickly, but the watch list here is going to be a very, very important part of it. So let's talk about SPX over here. What is it? It's the S&P 500 index. Why does it matter? It's considered the best overall measure for the United States economy. Again, and it belongs on your charts because you really want to understand the market risk environment, whether it's bullish or bearish. So when it comes to these indices, you want to have SPX. Okay, and then the next one is going to be the NDQ. Why is it important? What is important about it? It tracks the 100 largest non-financial companies. So that is super, super important. It's heavily weighted towards AI, semiconductors, and big tech. Why does it belong over here? Well, it shows the growth stock momentum, especially for AI companies like NVIDIA, AMD, and so on. So you really, really want to have that. Now, one of the most important ones here is VIX. You really, really also have to understand it. So I'll very quickly explain to you. This is the volatility index. Basically, this is the fear index. It measures the expected volatility in the S&P 500, and it's one of the best early indicators of a crash or even a reversal. If you understand the VIX, you understand crashes, you understand reversals. You want to have it here in your indices. Okay, and then DXY, which is this very last one over here. Again, you want to have these four super important indices. Why does it belong over here? Well, it's one of the best early indicators of crashes and reversals. And again, for the VIX. But what is DXY? Well, it measures the strength of the United States dollar versus other major currencies. So that measure of the dollar versus other currencies is very important because it's one of the best macro indicators for liquidity. And liquidity is very important to understand. Without liquidity, you can never buy the dip, for example. So really, really important to understand it. Now let's talk about, we're going to go down a little bit into futures. And again, your stocks this makes sense, right? You put your top stocks you want to purchase, you want to keep an eye on as your watch list. So that is self-explanatory. Let's skip over to futures, U.S. oil. What is it? Why does it matter? This is the crude oil. It tracks the price of the West Texas Intermediate crude oil. And why does it matter? Well, oil drives inflation. And again, all of the markets are impacted by inflation. So why does it belong on your charts? Well, oil is the heartbeat of all of the global economy. So you have to understand what is happening with oil. Now let's go. We're not talking about Bitcoin as the crypto gold. We'll talk about real gold over here in futures. So let's talk about gold. And again, make sure you have these symbols in this chart set up like this. So the gold futures tracks the price of gold as a commodity and the store of value. Again, it's kind of like crypto, but the real version of it. So why does it really matter? Well, gold reflects the global fear and the monetary policy expectations. So this is a very, very important setup. You want to copy this exactly. If you have anything else added, just delete it. And again, let's talk about Forex over here. So I want to move down a little bit. So EUR/US, let's talk about that. What is it? Why does it matter? Well, it's the most traded currency pair in the world. And again, why does it matter? Well, it helps confirm the DXY direction and the global capital flow. So again, the combination of DXY up here, again, with it really helps you understand what's happening with the global capital money and which way it's flowing. Super, super important. So next one over here, USDJP. Let's talk about it. Again, so what is it? It's the dollar versus the Japanese yen. Simply put, doesn't get very complicated like that. So when you're on Forex and you're trading, whatever you're doing, you're observing it, you have to understand it because the Japanese massive liquidity flows influence the stocks, the bonds, and the crypto across the entire planet. So it influences it globally. So you really want to have these set up here. This is more important than ever setting this chart up in the beginning. Again, down here, you have to understand crypto as well, right? You're setting up a crypto chart over here. So Bitcoin, you have to understand Bitcoin USD. This is Bitcoin versus the USD, the American dollar. Why does it matter? Because it's the largest crypto asset, and it often acts on the index for the entire crypto market. What Bitcoin does, all the other crypto follow. Again, so why does it belong on your chart? Well, it's the crypto market benchmark. Bitcoin is the benchmark for all the other cryptocurrencies. You really want to have it in there. Ethereum is the largest cryptocurrency in the world that is not Bitcoin. Again, so remember, Bitcoin is just Bitcoin by itself, and every single thing else is an altcoin. So the largest altcoin in the world is Ethereum. So you have to understand, again, Ethereum versus the American dollar as well, which is right here. And again, it's the backbone of DeFi. It's the backbone of NFTs, which is non-fungible tokens, and all smart contracts out there. It often leads all altcoin cycles that exist. So if you're ever observing any altcoin cycle that's ever existed in 14 years of crypto history, you have to understand Ethereum, not Bitcoin, not anything else, but Ethereum specifically. So it has to be here on your chart. And again, Solana versus USD, which is the very last one over here. Why does it matter? It's one of the fastest blockchains on Earth and most utilized by major banks. It has a huge ecosystem for DeFi and for meme coins. In fact, it's becoming the most favorite one that exists for all meme coins out there. Majority of them there are being created across the last couple of years. That includes the end of 2024, all of 2025 and 26 is using the Solana network. So again, if you're into meme coins, if you're anything, you have to understand Solana. So why does it have to be up here, and why do you have to observe it? Well, because it represents the high beta crypto momentum. And if you don't know the high beta crypto momentum, you really don't know what to invest in. So let's switch over to the charts over here. I kind of really want to start off with a couple of things. If you go in the top left corner and you click on it, OxRank is the name of the second tool we're going to talk about. So I just named my TradingView profile OxRank, and I added the OxRank logo here, but you can put a picture of your face, your company, your logo. You can put your name over here. So that really is the only important part. You scroll down over here, you definitely want to switch dark theme, especially if you're a crypto trader. You want these images to be as dark as possible to be easy on your eyes. And that's most of that menu right there. Now, if you go over here on the top and you click on indicators, okay, you're going to type it and you're going to use a couple of different indicators, okay? So really, when you're in here, you can type in, let's say, super trend, and you can find it, and then you'll see the little buy and sell alerts over here that you see on the chart back here. Let me show you. That is super trend. So once you click on super trend, add that indicator, boom, it's added in there, and then you're set. Now all of these, instead of going through all of them one by one, I'm gonna just put them up for you in my favorites. So this is screenshot this, write this down, add every one of these indicators, which means go to indicators and tap over here, click search, and then add super trend. Click search, add stochastic, add the smooth moving average, add the moving average that's weighted, and then you can even add Eller's adaptive cyber cycle indicator as well if you'd like. So here they are. I'm gonna wait a couple seconds for you to screenshot it or pause the video. And then once you've added all of these indicators, you are done with indicators. So now go anywhere on the screen and right click, and then you'll go to settings, which is this little weird icon over here. And again, you can also do it in the top right corner. It is right here. Again, if you kind of hover on it, it will say settings. So you can click up in the top right corner settings, or just right click and then go to settings. Again, when you're in symbol, you can change it to whatever you want. For body, I changed it to a light green, and changed all borders to a light green as well. And then for my wick, this also was green, but I changed my wick to white. Okay. And then also I changed it kind of like a lighter red, slightly pinkish color, not that dark red, for the body, borders, and wick over here, again, on the other end. So that takes care of the symbols for it. Again, you can change your time zone as well down here. Once you go to status line, you can just copy my settings right here. Very simple. I kind of set the background at about 20% opacity. And then we will move on to scales and lines. Again, here's the scales and lines. Not a lot of this stuff was adjusted at all. You can leave it mostly the way it's been set up automatically by TradingView. In Canvas View, I changed the background over here to purple. Again, if you can change it to black, it will be black like this. You can change it to purple. It's up to you, whatever color you want. Here's purple. Again, these vertical lines, if you click on them, you can choose, what color they are. These are the lines that go up and down like this, like columns. And then you can change the opacity as well if you like down here. So take a look at the lines. If I change the opacity, they become much more prominent. You see them over here on the left and right. So I like that opacity at around 20% or so, and I'm good with that. And again, I just leave everything else as is. Trading, you can leave it as is. Here are your alerts and then your events. Okay, I haven't really changed anything in events. I haven't changed anything in alerts or trading, so you can leave that alone. I just left the buy and sell buttons on. Click OK, and now you're finished up with your chart. So this is what your chart looks like. So now what you want to do when you get to this point is really want to utilize the second part of this. So again, this is OxRank analysis tool. We just used and set up all of TradingView for it. And now you can use that in combination with OxRank. You can see the heat map. If we go over here, you can see, and again, I'll go to the home button over here. So you will go to oxrank.com. Once you sign up, you will see these top 4 crypto or stocks. It changes on a daily basis. So these are the best 4 buys in the entire market. And it uses, over 100 years of data for the stock market, over 14 years for the crypto markets. And it comes up with what's your best buy based on just safety and what you can make over the next 12 months without losing your money. Over here, your portfolios will be listed. Here's your cryptocurrency fear and greed index. And here's your stock market fear and greed index. Generally, if you're in strong bull over here, massive greed, you want to really be taking profits. Right now, when you're in strong fear, where crypto was like at 8 a couple days ago, 920, you're still in that massive buy range. And that's the exact reason why the Ox meter is telling you that you're not in the overvalued range or the whole range or buying stocks. You're in the crypto buy range right now. Again, does that evaluation. Over here, you can see the Buffett indicator. It's telling you that the entire market is significantly overvalued. So you have to be very picky. Now, as you add stocks and cryptocurrencies in OxRank, it will tailor this news based on what you are holding. So you have only pertinent, important news tailored specific. If you want to see my next market breakdown, watch this video right here.